You're not getting the best out of your PS5 Pro, and in this video I'm going to show you how to fix that. If your games on your PS5 Pro don't look smoother, respond fast, or hit 120 FPS like they should, the problem isn't the console, it's your setup or your settings. This video I'm going to show you the exact settings you need to change, the hardware that actually makes a difference, and the in-game tweaks that unlock the next-gen performance. If you've invested in a PS5 Pro, this is how you get your money's worth. So let's start with your TV, because no matter how powerful your PS5 Pro is, if your display can't handle what the console is outputting, you're wasting potential. The PS5 Pro is designed to deliver 4K at 120Hz, HDR and VRR, but all of that is completely dependent on your display. So here's the things you need to check. First of all, you need to make sure your TV supports 120Hz at 4K resolution. Many TVs claim to be 120Hz but only at 1080p. You need native 120Hz at 4K with support for HDMI 2.1 bandwidth. Without a proper 120Hz display, you're immediately capped at probably 60Hz, even if the PS5 Pro and the game can go higher. This means you're losing responsiveness, motion clarity and the full benefit of higher frame rates. You're also going to want VRR support, which is variable refresh rate. It smooths out fluctuations in the frame rate, reducing screen tearing in games like Warzone or Spider-Man 2. Next, make sure you're using a certified HDMI 2.1 cable. It's not just a normal HDMI cable. This ensures full bandwidth for 4K at 120Hz in HDR. And finally, make sure you plug in to the correct port on your TV. Only one or two of the HDMI ports are true HDMI 2.1, and it usually labels these potential as HDMI 4 or game. If your TV isn't capable of a 4K 120Hz with HDMI 2.1, you're leaving performance on the table. Even with the right settings on your PS5 Pro, you won't see the benefits because your display becomes a bottleneck. If you're unsure, check out your TV specs or look up a model number. TVs like the Samsung QN93D is another review I've done, so check out that video. But make sure that the TVs support the features that the PS5 Pro needs to shine. Next, let's get your console set up to prioritise speed and smoothness. Go to Settings, Screen and Video, Video Output, set to 4K, turn on 120Hz output to automatic, enable VRR and confirm it's on your TV settings too. Then head to Settings, Save Game Data, Games Presets, and Performance Mode. This tells the PS5 Pro to default to higher frame rates where possible. But here's something important, these games only affect titles that have been updated to support the PS5 Pro. If the game hasn't been patched or remastered, it would likely run just like it did on the base PS5, regardless of your setup. Let's look at the games that do take advantage of the PS5 Pro's upgraded hardware. These games that have been patched or built to support the Pro's performance and resolution enhancements. Warzone. This is a game I play a lot. It hits consistent 120 FPS with better frame rate pacing than it did on the base PS5. On games like Warzone, you should always use performance and turn off motion blur. Combine that with the VRR and the Pro feels nearly on par with high-end PCs. I would say that I actually get better FPS than I do on my RTX 3080, which averages about 110, while the Pro holds closer to the 120 FPS locked. Gods of War Ragnarok. Now, you can have performance or you can have quality. Now, I would always go for the higher frame rate because it just makes everything look smoother. And I think the power of the PS5 Pro negates any loss than you would do in quality. So I would always put it on performance. On a 120Hz display, movement and input feels dramatically more responsive. This is where the extra GPU horsepower pays off. Spider-Man 2, again, I would use performance T mode for ray tracing and high frame rates. On the base PS5, Spider-Man always felt like it dipped in busy scenes. On the Pro, it's far more stable, especially with VRR enabled. Accessories still matter. When you can't unlock peak performance, you're introducing lag elsewhere. So make sure, where possible, you can use a wired internet. It reduces latency and avoids Wi-Fi spikes, especially in a competitive multiplayer. Keep your DualSense controllers firmware updated for tighter input responses. Use wired headsets or low latency USB dongles for better positional sound. And check your HDMI cable. I know I've said this once, but I'll say it again. It must be a 2.1 certified because it will be getting bottlenecked at some point. So what does this all actually get you? As I said, in Warzone, you'll get a more consistent 120 FPS experience. God of War Ragnarok, smoother combat and animation during high-end load scenes. In Spider-Man 2, steadier performance even mid-swing across crowded skylines. These benefits will only show their true colours if you're playing PS5 Pro-enabled games. If a title hasn't been patched to take advantage of this extra GPU, the difference will be minimal. PS5 Pro is capable of more, but only if you set it up right and play the games that are optimised to use power. With the right display, HDMI 2.1 cable, tuned system settings and pro supported titles, you're going to experience gaming at a higher level, smoother motion, sharper details and responsiveness that high-end PCs. Thanks for watching, enjoy every frame, give me a like and subscribe.